The dawn light was the first to illuminate Ouagadougou in gold that morning. President Ibrahim Traoré went against the norm. No meetings and reports for him, but instead a first-hand look at reality. "I shall go to Yalgado Ouedraogo National Hospital," he instructed his chief of staff bluntly. In spite of protests about his itinerary, Ibrahim stayed serene but firm. "How can I make the right choices behind a desk if I don't know how my people live?" Without fanfare, he departed in a nondescript car, guarded by only 2 men, dressed in a plain Burkinab face shirt. He was indistinguishable from the crowd. The hospital director rushed up to greet him. Alarmed, "We weren't expecting you, Mr. President." "Just like that," Ibrahim smiled. "Reveal all of this to me as it really is." The corridors of the hospital spoke volumes for themselves. Patients sitting on benches and floors, quickly moving doctors, weariness etched on every face. Some recognized him and smiled demurely. Others were too sick to even notice. Ibrahim pulled up repeatedly, talking softly to a mother with ailing child. "We are with you. We will make things better." He clasped the shaking hand of an old man who sobbed at the unforeseen compassion. But everywhere he gazed, the picture was bleak: peeling walls, leaking ceilings, aged equipment, and personnel stretched to the breaking point. Dr. Ouattara, head of pediatrics, approached respectfully. "Mr. President, please see our intensive care unit. That is where help is needed most." Ibrahim followed him through the narrow halls. Suddenly, he slipped on a wet patch. A woman in a faded blue uniform, holding a mop, lowered her head. "I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "No, it was my fault," he replied warmly, but something in her voice, her stance, stopped him. His heart pounded. He looked at her lined face, her unobtrusive dignity. "Your name," he whispered. The woman slowly raised her head. "Aminata," she replied. The name hit him like a flashback from the past, unremarkable but intensely familiar. Ibrahim stood still, seized by a memory he couldn't quite pinpoint. For an instant, the chaotic hospital was stilled, time itself in holding breath. While Ibrahim made his rounds of the hospital, his thoughts kept returning to her. Aminata's soft but resolute face evoked memories long hidden away, snatches of a life before politics, before power, before the city. He struggled to attend to Dr. Ouattara talking of broken equipment and days-long queues of patients. But each sick child, each exhausted nurse, seemed to evoke Aminata's face with greater prominence than previously. On the maternity ward, he caught sight of her once more, padding softly down and off. Wing corridor, his chest felt tighter. He turned to Dr. Ouattara and said quietly, "Doctor, go ahead with my chief of staff. I'll be there in a minute." He trailed behind. Aminata jumped at his coming, holding tightly to her mop. "I am sorry, Mr. President. I didn't do anything wrong." "No," he said softly, showing a reassuring smile. "You have done nothing wrong. I just want to ask you some questions." Her fingers shook slightly. "How long have you been working here?" 3 years, she answered, voice low. "I came here after I left my village." "And what village is that?" "Kwago in San Matanga province." The name hit him like a clap of thunder. Kwago, his native village. He was swept by the cascade of memories, millet simmering over fires, women singing at the well, the warmth of a mother's touch. His voice constricted. "Do you know a woman named Fatima?" Aminata raised her eyes, brimming with emotion. "Fatima. Yes, I knew her intimately. She was your mother." Ibrahim stopped dead, constricting throat. "So you knew her, and me." She nodded, tears shining. "You were 5 when your father died. I saw you then." The bustling hospital hall seemed to recede into quietness about them. "Aminata," he whispered, "were you close to my family?" "More than a neighbor," she breathed, wiping her tear-stained cheek. "But here is not the time for such tales." He nodded. "And where do you live now?" "In the neighborhood, sir. A small house with my niece. I want to come see you tomorrow, if you'll allow it." She blinked in disbelief. "My house is too small, not fit for a president." He met her eyes. I won't come as a president. I'll come as a child from Kwogo, searching for his past. He returned to the tour of the hospital, but his mind stayed knotted in the recollections Aminata had stirred. Afterwards, at the palace, Ibrahim postponed all his night meetings by himself in his office. He took out a faded photo album. Pictures gazed back. His mother Fatima taking him by the hand. Village homes. Trees high and tall where elders congregated. But Aminata's face was not there. He was resolute. Picked up the phone. Get me everything you have on a woman called Aminata. Ibrahim issued his instruction quietly. Get me everything on Aminata of Kwogo, who is employed at Yalgado Hospital. Keep it confidential. His voice was low, but his heart was full of turbulence. That night, sleep escaped him. Memories rose in fragments, soft lullabies, scraped knees being cleaned, stories whispered by kerosene light. Faces blurred together, his mother or Aminata. Before dawn, he resolved to see her, not as a president, but as a man searching for his past. By morning, there was a file on his desk. Aminata, age 63, widow hospital cleaner at Yalgado since 1998. Resides in Difefe with her niece. On paper, it was routine, but to Ibrahim, it was the burden of a story yet untold. As the sun rose, he dispatched a car. Only his driver and a single guard. No sirens, no escort, his staff protested. Mr. President, you have an 11 o'clock video call with Ghana. Tell them I have a personal emergency. Ibrahim answered firmly. Ouagadougou streets were filled with school kids, vendors, and cars. In the shaded glass, Ibrahim observed the city coming to life. Yet his mind was elsewhere. At last, the car turned into a narrow road of small houses. Laundry swayed in the wind. His guard nodded. That is the house. Ibrahim stepped out alone. The gate creaked as he pushed it open. A young woman washing dishes froze at the sight of him. I'm looking for Madame Aminata, he said gently. She silently pointed toward a door. Inside, the house was plain but immaculate. Simple furniture, brightly colored fabrics, and photos in frames. It exuded respect. Aminata sat at the window, serene, as if she'd been waiting for him. I made tea, she whispered. They sat facing each other. The silence was thick with unwritten years. Outside, kids laughed and motorbikes whizzed by, but inside, time crawled. Since yesterday, I am unable to stop thinking of you, Ibrahim admitted quietly. Your face, it is a memory that is out of reach. Aminata poured tea, her hands unshaking. Children forget, but the heart remembers, she said. From a wooden coffer, she took out a bracelet of cowrie shells and beads. This was yours, a present from your mother. Fatima, she had it blessed to keep you safe. Ibrahim cradled it in his hands. Memories returned, counting beads at bedtime, playing with the charms. How do you possess this? He breathed. Aminata's voice softened. Your mother became ill, and I was her dearest friend. She asked me to take care of you. I was your second mother for almost 2 years. I fed you, clothed you, read stories to you. You called me Mama Nina. Tears obscured Ibrahim's vision. Mama Nina, I remember. Your laughter, your broad shoulders, the herbs for fever. I remember you. Her lips quivered on a smile. When Fatima passed away, your uncle arrived. They carried you off. According to tradition, I pleaded to be allowed to keep you, but I was powerless. Ibrahim fell to his knees, holding her hands. You were my mother too. Why should I have forgotten? You never forgot, she murmured. You were only ordered to. He spoke softly. How have you lived all these years? I fled the village. It pained too much. I worked at the hospital in secret, and when you became a leader, I watched from the distance, silently proud. You should have approached me, Ibrahim exclaimed, his voice cracking. She nodded her head sorrowfully. And what? Who would listen to me? Power constructs walls among people. Ibrahim grinned for the first time with tears. And yet fate caused me to slip on your newly washed floor. Aminata's eyes sparkled. Life goes in curious ways. Time vanished in that tiny house. Ibrahim overlooked his work, his calls, his meetings. Here, he was nothing but a man rediscovering the fragments of his childhood. Aminata retrieved old photos, Fatima in the village, little Ibrahim on her lap. They were treasures to her. Each year on your birthday, said Aminata softly, I prepared your favorite food, rice with chicken and sauce. I served it to children and prayed for your well-being. Ibrahim's chest hurt with silent appreciation. All these years, you took care of me from afar, he breathed. Aminata smiled gently. A heart bond never really dissolves. Her niece, Fatu, slipped back into the room with a tray, millet paste with baobab leaf sauce. Simple, unassuming food, but full of the flavor of memory. Aunt Aminata often told us about you, Fatu said hesitantly. I thought they were stories. I never dreamt the president would visit our home. Aminata rested a hand on the shoulder of her niece. Fatu is like my daughter. My sister Cadet died 10 years ago. We look out for one another. Ibrahim looked at the young woman, his eyes beautiful with kindness. Your aunt was a second mother to me. Even when I forgot, she never ceased to show me love. They ate in comfortable silence. Aminata told him stories of his childhood, falling into a shallow well, pretending to be a rooster at dawn, hanging onto his little blue blanket. With each one, fragments of a forgotten past were unlocked. Do you recall the hyena and the hare? She teased. Ibrahim grinned, his laughter unencumbered. Of course, I begged for it every night, even when I knew it by heart. Her face became lit with happiness. You always wanted it again and again. For the first time in years, Ibrahim laughed, not as a soldier, not as a president, but as a child recalling love. Then his smile departed, and a profound seriousness took its place. I want to do something for you, he declared firmly. You shouldn't have to work so hard now. Aminata shook her head softly. You returned, you remembered me, that alone is sufficient. No, Ibrahim said firmly. I owe you, Mama Nina, a son's debt to a mother. Let me assist you. I would like to ease your life, give you peace, and learn more about my mother, Fatima. Tears made Aminata's eyes soft. If it is your sincere desire, I agree. But I don't require riches, only peace with Fatu, and occasionally to go back to the village to feel my roots again. Ibrahim stood up and hugged her. Shea butter and incense perfume filled his senses, homey familiar like home itself. As he departed at dusk, Aminata and Fatu waved to him from the little yellow house. His guard inquired, Everything okay, Mr. President? Ibrahim turned back, his voice firm but charged with feeling better than ever. Today, I recovered a piece of myself. Back at the palace, urgent files and missed calls lay waiting. None seemed as important. Picking up the phone, Ibrahim spoke firmly. I want to create a foundation to honor women like Aminata, women who raise and sustain others in silence, without recognition. And the name, sir? His secretary asked. Ibrahim paused, then said softly, Roots of the heart, because these women are the hidden roots of our society. Ibrahim slept soundly that evening. In his dreams, he strolled again through Kwogo, smiled at his mother Fatima's face, and experienced Aminata's helping hands as he took his first steps. 3 weeks passed and preparations were all made. A humble but dignified residence awaited Aminata and Fatu in a peaceful suburb of Ouagadougou. Early retirement, a good pension, ease for her later years, all secretly provided. One morning, an official vehicle came for them. Aminata dressed in her best dress, vibrant colors draped across her slender body. Nervously, she held onto Fatu's hand. Where are we going? She whispered. To the presidential palace, replied the driver softly. Fatu tightened her hand. Don't worry, Auntie. I think it is a good surprise. At the entrance to the palace, Aminata stood stock still. Ministers, reporters, old Kwogo friends, hospital colleagues of her past, even the marabout who blessed Ibrahim's bracelet all these years ago. There they were. Then Ibrahim moved forward, serene and smiling, his gaze locked on hers. He took her hands gently. "Don't worry, Mamana," he whispered, using the childhood name she loved so much. Gradually, he led her into a magnificent reception room where over 50 individuals were waiting. Cameras rolled live all over the country. Ibrahim's voice was calm, but with lots of emotion. "My friends, I am talking today of a debt, a national and a personal one. The woman at my side, Aminata Rio, was my second mother. When my own mother, Fatimata, fell seriously ill, it was Aminata who cared for me. She fed me, defended me, loved me as if she were my own mother. Life kept us apart for many decades, but destiny reunited us, unexpectedly, at Yalgado Hospital." Whispers rippled throughout the room. This woman was known to many as a humble cleaner. No one knew what her secret story was. Ibrahim went on. "Aminata never requested anything, not even when I became president. It is this humility, this heart, that I pay tribute to today. Not only for her, but for all women throughout our country who care for children, who nurture in silence, who give without expecting a return." The room fell silent as Ibrahim picked up a plaque that bore her name. Then, to her astonishment, he presented her with the keys to a new house, and the paperwork issuing her a lifetime pension. And in a louder voice he declared, "Today we unveil the Root Heart Foundation, an initiative to take care of women, taking care of orphans and needy children. Theirs is the invisible pillar of our society." A thunderous round of applause rose up. Aminata's eyes teemed with tears. When Ibrahim asked her if she wanted to say something, she hesitated at first, bashful in front of the cameras. Then, with quiet fortitude, she began to say, "I don't have the words of men of letters. I just know this. Love has no boundaries. When I took care of little Ibrahim, I never even thought of the future. I just saw a child in need of love. In our villages, they say, it takes a whole village to raise a child. I did nothing extraordinary. I just took the example of our ancestors." Her words brought the room to silence. Then another wave of applause erupted. Ibrahim himself felt tears spring in his eyes. For the first time in years, he saw that the real foundations of a nation are fed not by power or riches, but by the unspoken and unseen gestures of love. Within a matter of hours, the broadcast reached millions, towns, and villages around Burkina Faso echoed her words. Donations for the Root Heart Foundation streamed in. Single mothers who were raising children who were not their own spoke out, their voices filling the air. Gradually, a new web of love and solidarity started to form, all inspired by Aminata's commitment and Ibrahim's understanding. A month afterward, Ibrahim came back with Aminata to his village of childhood. It was his first homecoming in decades. The villagers were apprehensive, not knowing how to behave in the presence of a president. But when they observed him sitting beneath the ancient baobab tree, hearing their stories, their embarrassment evaporated. There were some who recalled the barefoot boy who long ago ran across the red dust. An old lady came up to him with shaking hands, a little cloth package in them. Inside was a wooden spinning top. "You made this yourself as a child," she whispered. "I held on to it all these years, hoping you would come back." Ibrahim clasped the toy. His eyes filled with tears. In that instant, childhood memories rushed back, running, playing, and Aminata's voice summoning him home. That night, as the sky was painted golden and red, Ibrahim and Aminata sat outside the house he used to live in. Children below played, and their laughter carried up into the evening. Gently, he inquired, "Do you mind if people refer to me as your son now?" Aminata looked at him, her eyes shining with warmth. "You were always my son, Ibrahim. Nothing ever changed within me." Together, they gazed out at the land which had molded both of their lives. A president and a one-time cleaner brought together by fate had shown their nation a lesson in love, appreciation, and humility. It became a contemporary legend in Burkina Faso, which was taught in schools and recalled in villages. As Aminata so often used to tell with her gentle wisdom, true greatness is not described in terms of power or wealth, but by the love and respect we accord to those who assisted us to stand. And thus, Ibrahim and Aminata's story continued, one that reminded everyone that even a little bit of care could transform lives, and perhaps even a country.